Thank you, Wells Fargo, on this amazing deal on this Honda Pilot I picked up a couple weeks ago. Well, not Wells Fargo directly, but somebody had this repo from Wells Fargo. So how do I buy these cars repossessed from the bank? I go to the dealer auction. I was able to get a great deal on this particular one because it was running in the INOP lane. So INOP is short for inoperable. So basically, let's say somebody has a car note on a vehicle like this one, and they're struggling to make that car note because now car notes are like at an all-time high and repos are at an all-time high also. So the person can't make the car note barely, and something goes on with the car. Let's say the car is overheating or giving them some kind of mechanical issues, and they can barely even pay the car note. Well, they're not gonna come up with money to fix the car and pay the car note. So what ends up happening, this vehicle gets repossessed. Now, if the vehicle gets repoed, it does go to dealer auctions. And some of the major ones you guys probably know of, Manheim, Odessa, America's Auto Auction, sometimes IAA, but mostly those three auctions right there. If the vehicle is having an issue, it's not running, the engine's messed up, transmission messed up, or any kind of problem, they'll identify it as an INOP vehicle, meaning it's non-running. But here's the crazy part. The banks are not in the game of trying to repair cars, and they're not in the game of trying to save cars. The banks are in the game of recouping whatever losses or profit they can make off the asset and moving on to the next one. So when I buy these vehicles at Manheim, I look specifically for the INOP lane. Same thing with America's Auto Auction. They do it about twice a week. Manheim does it weekly. Odessa does it weekly. So all the major auctions have INOP lanes. And not gonna lie, 80% of the vehicles I buy are repossessed vehicles anyways. So I bought this vehicle for about $7,800. That's before the fees, my floor plan please, because I buy these cars with no cash down using a line of credit called a floor plan. Also, the auctions add their own fees in. So I was out the door on this car about $8,200. It's a 2017, it has 96,000 miles. And now that I've gotten this car all together, everything good, I see that it retails for between $15,000 to $20,000. How was I able to purchase it for $7,800? Well, it said INOP, non-running. It said the car had transmission issues. So when I go and check the car out, because you can't drive the car, you just have to buy it based on the fact that it does have transmission issues. So I priced the transmission off of this car, it was about $1,800. So that's why I was comfortable bidding around the $7,000 to $8,000 range, because I saw this vehicle retails for $15,000. So I bought the vehicle, scheduled for it to get towed. It came back to my lot, and the first thing I did was throw this car in gear and noticed that it was going into drive, it was going into reverse. So I took it around the block, hit all the gears, got it up to fourth gear, and the transmission was shifting smoothly. Now, it's not a surprise to me because I buy a lot of INOP cars that are wrongly classified, meaning that they say the engine is bad. Sometimes it's overheating because of the bad radiator, or it's running rough because it needs a tune-up. But like I said, the banks are not in the game of diagnosing these issues. So sometimes it's not what they think it is. Sometimes it's a minor issue. And this is a perfect example of misdiagnosing the vehicle. It wasn't transmission. I don't know where they got the transmission diagnosis from, but after I took it around the block, I noticed that it was leaking antifreeze. The bumper also had some damage to it, so I'm guessing that the person who owned the vehicle hit something, it punctured the radiator or cracked the radiator, started leaking antifreeze. Maybe the car was overheating on them, and maybe they were already behind on their car notes, so they just decided to let it go. I don't know where they got bad transmission from, but that's, my lucky day, I guess. So these are all the parts. This is everything that I bought for this vehicle. We had to change the bumper, radiator, the condenser, and other little minor things like tires and stuff. But now this car is driving A1. And that car ride good. And actually, when I put these cars in my rental business, it actually makes a lot of sense because I'm getting it really, really low value. So if anything was to happen to the car as far as total loss, like for this car right here, if somebody was to crash this car on TURO, I would get 20K, no questions asked. But like I said, you always have to check the car and be willing to change whatever they say it is. But checking the car is very, very important, because this truck right here, I bought it the same exact way. It was an INOP. It needed an engine, but I didn't check the car, I just bought it online. Now, I still anticipated changing the engine, but somebody had gutted this car out before they let it get repoed. Like, they took the cats off, they pulled the wiring out, the computer. So it had a lot more work than anticipated. Even though I anticipated changing the engine, I didn't anticipate somebody gutting the car out. So this person knew that the car was about to get repoed, and they completely gutted it out. But I'm still able to make a profit on it because it's a 2014 Sierra, and it's a V6. Very nice, doesn't have the leather and all that, but it's great on gas. And I'm into this truck for about 11 grand, and I sold it for 15 grand. So the customer is coming to pick it up. But how does this help you out? Well, you need access to a dealer auction to be able to take advantage of some of these in-app deals. I'm coming here. So in states like Georgia, you can get a dealer's license by having a lot, like what I have over here, a car lot, or you can be what they call a broker. Now, there's no difference between a broker and a dealer. A broker technically is supposed to just have an office space to facilitate the deal between the customer and the auction. But in Georgia, you still get all the advantages of being a dealer. You still get your 3 dealer tags, and you can buy and sell unlimited amount of cars. So your state might be different, but like I said, in Georgia, as long as you have an office space, internet connection, landline, you can apply for a dealer's license. And if you're on this channel because you rent cars on TURO or have a private car rental business or whatever your angle is, you're messing with cars, then having a dealer's license just makes everything a lot easier because you have access to unlimited amounts of cars and you can get better deals. And if you're buying cars from the auction and you have a family member that's a mechanic, a friend that's a mechanic, or have a mechanic shop that you're working with, then you definitely want to check out some of these in-app sales. You're not going to get a good deal every time, but if you're watching them like clockwork, then yeah, you're going to spot different holes in the market where you can come and take advantage of it. And sometimes you're checking out the cars at the auction, you can clearly tell that whatever the issue they think is, it's not going on with it. So yeah, let me know if you guys have already hit up some dealer auctions, if you guys have bought in-app vehicles from those auctions, or if you guys are motivated by this video to try to get some in-app cars. So you see, you got the whole setup over here. So, you know, for me, it's a no-brainer. But like I said, if you got somebody you're working with that knows how to put in the work, knows how to spot some of these holes in the market, then you can definitely take advantage of this. So that's pretty much it for today. I'm gonna list that vehicle probably tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get at least 15 grand for it. Tax money might have dried up, or somebody might need some financing to get this vehicle. I don't think people just have this kind of cash right now, especially the rough economy. But if somebody come up with 15 grand, I'm gonna go ahead and take that. If not, I'm gonna throw it on the rental fleet. I'll rent this car out in my area. I could probably rent it for about $65 a day, which on the 75-25 plan with TURO, I'll probably get, you know, maybe around $50 a day, which is great if you add it up like that. If I can get $50 a day for the vehicle and I'm into it for 10 grand, then that is like 0.5% a day. So with those numbers, I'll definitely make my money back in a year. I'm averaging about 20,000 miles on some of these SUVs when I put it on. So if I rent it for a whole year, at the end of that year, I'll have my money back and I'll have 20K extra miles on the vehicle. The value won't change too much, but let's say I keep going on. Let's say I rent it for 2 years and put 40K on it. Well, definitely I made my 10K back. I'm 10K profit, and I still have a Honda Pilot with 130, 140K on it, which the car is still worth 10 grand. So that's how I add my numbers up with these rental cars. It actually makes more sense for me to rent the car, but I'm just saying, if somebody was to come and drop 15 right now and I make a quick 5 grand, with that 15 grand, I can actually get 2 sedans and rent those. So the money is still there. But either way, this is a win-win. I love getting these in-app vehicles where the situation is like this, where we don't have to put an engine in it, we don't have to put a transmission in it. It works out great, but if you're buying these in-app cars, you always have to be willing to do the hard work. You always have to anticipate engine or transmission, but sometimes you don't have to do that and you make out good. So I'll do a follow-up and let you guys know what I end up doing with this car. So if you like content like this, definitely don't forget to sub. Go ahead and smash the like button while you're down there too for the YouTube algorithm. And I will catch you guys in the next video next week or maybe sooner. All right, peace.